We're mostly working on the digital airspace. So we're trying to make government more open, especially in the publication of digital information. Basically to make data or information more accessible and machine readable so that it can be used for research purposes or to build applications and web services. So a lot of information in Malaysia is not easily available from the government department websites themselves. So a lot of information that are of interest to people are usually asked by their representatives in Parliament themselves. So one of the biggest impacts that we have is actually from the Parliamentary Documents Project, in which we put online digital copies of written replies to parliamentarians. We've seen it being used for by the media as well as, again, researchers, women's rights groups for underage marriage. We've seen it used for the calculation of toll costs by media. One thing that I've learned actually from the recent World Bank report on open data readiness is that actually even from the government itself, they need to have information easily accessible. I think in this current generation, the expectations of people have changed. In the Google world, people now expect that when I search for something on, let's say, an environmental impact form, or I'm looking for a specific budget, or I'm looking for a specific report, they expect to get it in the result instantly.
The urban poor in Kota Damansara have approached us, and it is a cluster of about 4 blocks of buildings with about 1,000 families, and they were living in very dilapidated conditions. And then we found that a lot of the problems that they are facing is actually about building maintenance, but it's also leverage on governance as well. We did a lot of advocacy work and tried to make sure that the right building managers are there to run the building. The place was so dilapidated, one of the boys died when he fell through the rusted railings. And I think the state government gave 1.8 million to repair all the railings. Unfortunately, the full repair wasn't done. So sometimes even if the money comes in, if the governance is not there to make sure that it's spent properly, then it's a problem. The fact that when they have a budget hearing, it's very democratic, this public participation, but none of the poor people are there. So the voiceless community really don't have a voice because they hold it during the working days. Friends of Kota Damansara also want to make sure that we focus on one community, so that by knowing the community, we are actually setting in place all the partnerships between other NGOs, between MPPJ and other stakeholders, so that we get a complete solution for them. Local council election is actually crucial. It is critical. Too many of the local councillors going in are not really well qualified, but because of political patronage and the reward system, they are in.